Welcome back. The clock is ticking for a deal to be reached between UPS and the Teamsters Union. The current labor agreement is set to expire in a week, and the union has said it is prepared to strike if a deal isn't reached in time.
The Teamsters are calling for pay increases, especially for part-time workers who they claim make poverty-level wages. The union is also pushing for part-time workers to be eligible for benefits faster.
And with a deadline of July 31st, businesses are hoping for a last-minute deal to avoid a strike.
Joining us now is Jason Miller, the interim chair of the Department of Supply Chain Management at Michigan State University's Broad College of Business. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we are a week until the contract deadline. The union says they are prepared to strike. What would you say the odds are of a strike happening, or is this just talk what happens when you're a week out from a negotiation?
I believe the union is very prepared to strike. I think it's going to come down to the deal that UPS offers right now, because I would consider the Teamsters in the driving seat at the moment.
Now, what do you think would happen if there were to actually be a strike, especially on us at home?
So there's going to be widespread disruptions for consumers. UPS handles roughly 25% of parcels in this country, and there's not enough excess capacity to absorb all that. But there's, as was mentioned in your prior segment, going to be a lot of disruption for businesses as well. So about 43% of UPS's volume is business to business.
How different could this potentially be from what we saw a few years ago during the height of the pandemic as far as disruptions?
So this won't be quite as problematic as everything that was going on in 2021, because you had failures across different modes. You had container ports backed up. You had railroads having to meter traffic inland. You had, the parcel sector itself where UPS was at was just overwhelmed in terms of volumes. So it will not be as disruptive as things were, let's say, in the second half of 2021.
On the flip side of this, Jason, there's the U.S. Post Office, DHL, and FedEx. Do you think that this could potentially mean more business for them if UPS is to go on strike?
It certainly will. The post office just rolled out a new parcel delivery program designed to compete very strongly with UPS, and so we'll see some diversion of volumes there. FedEx Ground has certainly been very vocal, saying we'll take additional business, though I think one thing for everybody to be cautious about is FedEx Ground is going to prioritize existing customers. So for folks who don't already work with FedEx Ground, it may not be possible to transition all your volumes very quickly.
Well, some estimates right now say that a 10-day strike could cost the U.S. economy $7 billion. How long do you think we could potentially feel the effects of that, and what does that exactly look like in the economy?
So it really depends on how long a strike would last. If we're looking at 2-3 days, it won't be that disruptive. 10 days is going to make things very disruptive. And if we start getting into the 15, 20, 30-day period, that is just going to compile things, and it will take weeks, if not months, to clear up the backlog of packages and essentially unwind all the disruptions that'll take place.
Now, if that were to happen, and there are, I'm sure, some customers who will have packages with UPS at that time, will the packages be returned? Will they be reimbursed? How does that work for the consumer?
It'll depend on the specifics of the retailer in question. My guess is right now is that we're looking at a lot of delays to start with. And then if things start to play out, for let's say 15 or 20 days, that may be the situation where it's going to be canceled orders.
We were mentioning earlier that there's a big focus right now on the part-time employees. Does it feel right now that these two sides are apart? UPS is the largest carrier in the country. Do we feel like there's a big gap here between UPS and their 340,000 workers?
I don't think this is an insurmountable gap right now. UPS is coming off of its two most profitable years in 2021 and 2022. Even with volume being down so far in 2023 from sort of the COVID pandemic highs, it's still going to be an incredibly profitable year right now. And so my sense is that management's looking at potentially losing up to 30% of parcel volumes, have been one estimate in the case of a prolonged strike. And so I think in that instance right now, you'll see UPS come to the table with a very good offer, because management has no, incentive right now to have a strike.
All right, Jason Miller, the interim chair of the Department of Supply Chain Management at Michigan State University. Thank you so much for being with us and that invaluable information.
Thank you.